So, what kind of fun stuff we're gonna do this time?
Well, we've had a lot of tickets open for this customer, and they've been struggling with some performance issues for a while now, and they're looking to increase their traffic by 3x. So
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
this is Load in the Loop, sponsored by Blackfire.io. I'm Eric, the CEO and co-founder of Mage Mojo Magento Hosting. For the last 10 years, we've been hosting exclusively Magento, and we provide a deep level of support for Magento. On this podcast, we review some of the customers and we share what we find to help others. And I'm here with my co-host, Ivan.
Oh, hello everyone. This is Ivan. I'm running my own consultancy business in the Netherlands. I help merchants to bring Magento performance to better levels and reduce overhead of application on CPU of hosting. So today, me and Eric, we're gonna again take a look at another Mage Merger customers. And Eric, tell us about the customer and what customer does.
Yeah, customer Scrip Co. They work in the medical industry. They've had a few tickets open for a while now with performance issues, and we've been helping them out to get to the bottom of it. They're multi-store, so they're dealing with some of that, and they're looking to increase their traffic by like 3x. So we're here today to take a look and see what we can find and reduce those bottlenecks so that they can grow their store and increase the traffic that they want.
Yeah, it's interesting. So let's see what this customer does. So let me copy paste the URL. Just a moment. So and they run. How many stores do they run?
That's a good question. I know of a handful, but I think they have more. I want to say they're 15 to 20. Let me check.
15 to 20 store views, right?
Yeah.
And they're pure Magento 2. As I remember, they're B2B customer, right?
You know what? I'm not sure. That's a good question. I think they might do both, but I think they're primarily B2B. Let's see.
Yeah, because I see they do medical supplies, so it looks like it's B2B. So, okay, let's just dive into it. Let's just start profiling, right? And let's run our nice Blackfire profile. So it's like, yeah, it's working quite good. I can say, like it's not like cache is disabled or something. It looks like everything is good here. So probably we're gonna find some interesting issues, not simple ones. And this is homepage, right? So
Yeah, of one of the stores. And
okay,
yeah,
so
they
we
use
are
a
right now hitting uncached homepage, and yeah, seems like there is
yeah, they use a lot more
required.
CPU than they should.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what takes so much time. So Blackfire as always generates for us a very nice report. And have you actually seen the recent article from Blackfire about our show?
Yes, I did. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like how they explained how with a couple of lines of changing of the code, we actually fixed a lot of a huge actually performance issue for that customer. So, yeah, by the way, is that customer already applied our fix, or are they still working with developer and doing it?
I think they did. Yeah, their developer's really responsive, so he was extremely happy. The last two episodes we did, the developers were extremely happy and probably reaching out to you to hire you actually.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm completely booked right now. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a bummer, but we will find later on some time for them. So let's take a look. So this is a homepage, right? And on the homepage we can see that yeah, it takes some time already. By the way, this time I decided to keep original size of the screen, so we can see right away the numbers without clicking through a page. So it's a little bit more convenient in my opinion.
It should still be clear.
So the homepage time to generate takes, yeah, almost 7 seconds, and from these 7 seconds, most of the time is actually spent on input output. So most of the time is actually spent on database. You see?
Well, it says 1.8, right? And then
Yeah,
5.73
1.8, but it's a lot comparing to other pages. So if you remember,
True.
Adam
Course
course
supply.
supply,
Yeah.
they were having less I/O issues, and here, yeah, it's 7 seconds that are spent in PHP as well. But from my experience, majority of the time that is spent in PHP is related to the number of database operation you do, because you have to process the data that you receive from the database.
So
And
Blackfire
there,
counts that waiting. Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't look
no,
like it counts the waiting time for the database.
it's the same CPU time, but we were discussing before, like Blackfire reports quite accurately the time actually spent on I/O on the database.
Uh-huh.
So if we just consider that amount of classes and methods that Blackfire has to hook into in order to measure the performance of particular PHP code parts, we can safely, like reduce it by 40%, and then we have a reasonable CPU time. So if we reduce by 40%
That's the one
this,
that worries me. Yeah, that 5.73 in the CPU. But if you add that to
yeah,
the I/O, that's the total 6.91.
yeah.
Close.
So
Well, no,
this
it
one,
is.
if we
Yeah.
reduce it by 40%, it will be something that would be executed without hooks, because like you have some overhead to measure this functionality. But if we run on profile page, I expect it would be something like 4-3 seconds, being generated server side. But the thing here is that from that time, 1.18 seconds on I/O, it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Because I've seen much more better. Yeah, 1,000 database queries is not good, but I've seen thousands of database queries being, let's say, spending maximum 300 milliseconds on
Yeah.
database.
Yep.
So this is indication there is also, apart from number of database queries, there is also probably some heavy queries happening as well. So let's take a look right away into the timeline. The best view you can get from point of view of representation. And let's see what's going on here. So here we have something custom grid, and the biggest time here is spent, as I see, on sale get product label or something like that. Get sale product label. So
Product labels. We saw 2 product label extensions last week.
yeah, it's quite very common issue. But this one, I think it's
their
get
code.
sale product to label. I'm not sure. Maybe it's even not their problem, because I don't know what the code looks like.
Yeah, they're overriding it, but we don't know what they changed.
Yeah, so this is just kind of a helper, but we don't know what this helper does. Like maybe it calls some core method that actually walks through all these products, but still, like there is this configurable product, and probably there is only one configurable product, right? Yeah, so here it is, you see?
Yeah. Yeah.
choose option. Oh, actually, all
So yeah, I see some of
three
them.
of them are configurables.
If you choose options, do you go to the product display page, or does it overlay something to choose and add?
I think you are going to the page. Yeah, I'm going
Yeah,
right now to the
so
page.
that doesn't seem like they need to.
Oh, but I don't see here drop down.
No, just.
Oh, now I see it.
Oh, was that an
Okay.
Ajax call that was delayed, or?
Yeah, looks like. So this is probably some kind of custom-made functionality. So here, yeah, we see that on the home page. Oh, did the block changed?
Kind of looks
Wait a
like it.
second.
Unless we're just in a
Wow.
different. To the feature.
Or it's a cached. It's a cached page. Wait a second. Oh, it's a cached page because I'm not profiling it right now. So or it just changes randomly, maybe.
Yeah, a
Maybe.
varnish is there.
Yeah. Okay. So another thing is here. Let's see. Media gallery. Get added. Yeah, it's almost nothing compared to this one. So the biggest problem here, what I see, is actually this custom grid. And inside of this custom grid, this get sale product label gets called a lot. And as well, we actually see the standard Magento performance issue as well, related to the price. You see it here? Price like takes
Yeah.
600 millisecond per product.
Wow.
And this is because Magento walks through every single configurable product. Oh, actually, it's even funnier. Wait a second. Magenta catalog model resource model load product. Wait. Where is it called? It's called on some interceptor. Get product by ID. Wait a second. So within a collection, someone calls. Oh, Mage Delight. So yeah, here we are. You see this one?
Yeah.
So Mage Delight, it looks like an extension vendor, right?
Subscribe now.
Yeah. On every single product, what it does, it triggers complete load of product itself. So let's say this is actually a most common load in a loop you can ever find, like when someone actually loads a separate product by product ID.
Okay.
So here it adds some kind of has this has special price check. It adds this adjustments to the product price itself, and it gets some parent product by ID. So yeah, this is actually the problem. So basically, it means that over here it just loads the whole product model instead of actually accessing the data it needs. Like if it needs some kind of adjustments, why don't add on collection after load? Why don't collect the product IDs and run a database query specifically for those adjustment values? And then you get these adjustment values, and then you operate with them by doing this simple database query instead of like loading every single product separately. So this extension definitely is giving troubles to this customer, and I can tell for sure, like if it's on every single product for 600 milliseconds on homepage.
Oh wow.
So So I can imagine what can we see in category page, because I'm more than sure that the same problem gonna happen in category listing as well.
Yeah. So is that doing a lot of calculations in CPU, or it's just database I/O? It's just
Yeah, so from profile, what we see here is actually that loading the product itself takes 600 milliseconds, because Magento has everything that assigned to a product load itself. Everything gets triggered. Like media gallery, tier prices, product details information, maybe MSI, maybe like bunch of other extensions that are not supposed to be used for this small functionality. Because I'm more than sure that as soon as you load the product, the next item, like it's not gonna reuse this product. This product just gonna be discarded. So only just to retrieve this adjustment value or something, it does this full product load. So it's completely,
wow.
Not high quality implementation.
Is there a way to tell Magento too when you load a product to limit the parts? No, it's just the whole full thing.
You have a repository, and in this repository, you just specify ID of the product you want to load. And here you see it, product repository get by ID. So it's only single parameter, and then you receive the whole elephant.
The whole elephant.
You wanted to access a coin, like
the full money. Yeah.
It even probably like you just wanted to order some pizza, but instead you get all the pizza delivery building, for yourself. So.
You get pizza, you get breadsticks and French fries and soda, and
it's the same thing as we were talking on the first podcast, and the second as well. We were talking about developers thinking point of view of objects, not the data that they need to access. They think, hey, Magento has already this object into which I already store the data.
Yeah.
So probably if I want to use it on the front end, I also need to use the same object. But in the end, it's wrong assumption about design, because you would have to go through the chain of actions in order to access the same object you were using in an admin panel. And
it seems like that should be parameterized with like a second parameter, which is an object like a string. I don't know, a JSON object that tells the attributes or the sections or the parts that you want to load. If it's not there, load the whole thing. But if it is there, then just load the ones that you ask for. Would that help?
It's not it's not about the product repository. So product repository, it assumes, let's say you work with API, right?
Mm-hmm.
So product repository was meant to be used in API-based interactions. Let's say you access a product by ID through the API, and it's nice, like it returns you all the data you need. If you want to access list of products, then you can specify list of attributes you want to receive, from this list of the product. And that's why it's different. And in this case, usually when you write some kind of business logic, it's also a bad approach to use EAV data to store your specifics about the product. Let's say if we talk about this module, probably it stores data in EAV structure in order to retrieve it later. But usually you have to create your own table, completely isolated from the catalog, into which you can build efficient queries in order to access it on the front end, and then just have a service model into which you just feed a list of product IDs, and you receive back the data you need, instead of doing it through the standard
the monstrous queries that come out from the EAV and using the query builder are just insane. I think we saw one yesterday. It was copied into a text file. It was like 6 megabytes. It was insane. And it returned one ID. The whole query returned one ID.
Wow. I want to see this. Maybe
Maybe we
maybe
should.
you can send it to me later.
I will. I will. We'll do an episode dedicated to the worst SQL queries we've seen. We've got some good ones.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. So, okay, we've spent quite a lot of time on this
Yeah.
simple problem, but I hope it should be clear what needs to be done. Okay, another one is this brand slider. A musty override. So probably there is some kind of a musty module that they had to customize a little bit. Okay, and here. Okay, this is interesting. Looks kind of heavy database query, 29 milliseconds. Is it some kind of layered navigation getting built here?
Good question.
On a homepage. Is it strange? Brand slider, get items data. So 600 milliseconds. Now let's see what kind of brands we have here. Anything resembling brand slides?
There, shop by
Is it-
brands. That's the brand slider. Yeah.
Okay, so just to show this logos,
Yep.
they run this database query. Actually, not the one, but wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and each of them is actually quite heavy database queries. Just a moment. And then it also uses temporary table to store this data.
Whoa, insert into search. What?
Yeah. So this is your MySQL server is dying out on every
Yeah.
single homepage.
Yeah. That's pretty much what we see on the server side.
So this is again our favorite extension vendor, Amusty. Yeah. So basically, from these 6 seconds, 3 seconds is spent on getting these brand logos.
Wow.
Just
to show some
Just another-
brands in a slider.
Yeah. So yeah, and the rest of the things are very minuscule. So the biggest problem are loading a loop in a product grid for adjustments, right? Another one is this product label. I don't know what's code behind it, what it's using, but I expect it's probably triggering the same functionality because iterating all the simple products of a configurable is always an expensive operation. So
What's the insert into search? I'm really curious what that is because search is always just soul crushing for us.
It just Magento. So Magento using as a default engine to build layered navigation, it's using MySQL.
Yeah, but it looked like an insert.
Yeah, so this is the thing. They decided to abstract away the part that returns you back IDs of the products that match the selection from the actual aggregation of the results. So let's say you have some search engine from outside, let's say Elasticsearch, and you want to build your layered navigation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or let's say you have a search engine that doesn't provide you layered navigation out of the box. So for instance, if you use Elasticsearch by Smile, layered navigation is already provided from Elasticsearch. But if you would say use as a default Elasticsearch, Magento would get all the IDs from Elasticsearch, store it into the Magento temporary table, and then we'll join those IDs in order to generate layered navigation.
Oh.
So that's why Magento inserts those documents into database.
Into the search table. It's not still
Yes.
Is it still full text?
It's not full text, but
The database table type.
It's temporary tables. It's created.
Oh, okay.
So it means it invokes. It could invoke I/O a lot, especially when you have a lot of concurrent connections. So database server gets hit a lot. So usually I just disable this part and replace, with very lightweight and simple queries specifically for this purpose, because as I see Amasti, what they decided to do, hey, we have to retrieve brands that are going to be shown on a category. We want to probably calculate how many total products we have, so we're going to show, the most sold products or something like that, or the most products we have on stock. So they just use standard Magento search API in order to find those brands by most sold quantities, instead of actually just writing a very simple database query to obtain all of this data they need.
Yeah, it seems like you could go straight to the database for that without a problem.
Yeah, and you can also build, an index. You can build an indexer that would generate for you this data in a very simple format. And then you also will be able, let's say, to go into admin panel and build a UI that would allow a merchant actually to prioritize brands that they want to show, on a homepage if they don't like the automated functionality. And here it looks like, it just takes the data right away from terrible queries on a database level. And apart from that, they do a lot of write operations. So just removing this
that's
slider,
half the load time right there. The brand slider, 3 seconds.
Yeah, just this is a part of the timeline, like 60% of the page load time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's a good find.
And another 40 is custom grid. But I think all of those issues are fixable quite easy. So let's see. We're still on homepage, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's go into category page. So here we don't see any products, right? This one has been loaded in a separate Ajax call, right?
Yeah.
Actually, let's take a look how much time it took, because it looks like it's a little bit slow. Okay, now we see these products. Okay, why I don't see anything? XHR. Okay, strange. Let's refresh. Maybe I had some. Oh yeah, now it shows me the requests, because I was a little bit terrified. Okay, so it's 3 seconds uncached page. So it's even not cached in varnish, as you see.
Yep.
And
top sellers.
Yeah. Looks like a little bit interesting. Like it's already knows the product is gonna have, It's already tells, hey, show me this product. But why it takes so much time? I can imagine if I just copy over this link. Copy as... Yeah, just copy link address. Let's see.
That's a lot of copy as.
And let's just run our favorite thing. Blackfire profile. Okay.
I mean, that seems to return quick, but it looked like there was a lot of other Ajax calls.
Yeah, but this Ajax call is quite heavy as well, I think. Yeah, it's 4 seconds to render 4 products. So yeah, it's probably as well a problem too. And this is hits all the time uncached. So this is even not using varnish in order to cache these Ajax calls, because those probably should be completely cacheable.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine bestsellers change just that often, really.
Yeah, so this is 3 seconds and 400 milliseconds on IO spent. So definitely a problem. And this could have been done, like even within a page, it could be rendered under 20 milliseconds, because it's only 4 products. You can build a very simple database query to get these 4 products IDs and then just use Magento collection in order to show these top sellers. Because as I understand, it just shows top products.
Was it excluded from Varnish because of the get parameters on the end of the URL?
I think it just completely not cacheable itself, because you have to specify in Magento, you have to specify that your controller is cacheable explicitly. If you don't specify cacheable, is your controller's cacheable, like it just gonna bypass varnish by default.
Because we've seen people send out emails and then they have Varnish, but the server resources just go wild. And then when we look,
Oh, it's about varnish configuration.
yeah, they had
So
parameters on the URL that weren't excluded, and so they didn't cache it. And they were basically
every
everything.
single marketing automation software adds a lot of unique parameters. So when you set up varnish, you don't need to blindly use default VCL you have provided from your vendor like Magento. So varnish VCL is not one size fits all.
Yeah.
It always needs to be modified. You always need to exclude parameters that are specific to your marketing software. As well, a lot of people don't have in their VCLs. They don't have in Google. When you click on search result, you have to the URL a parameter being appended gclick ID, and basically, if someone visits you from Google and you don't have this parameter filtered out in varnish URL, every single new visitor to your website from Google will receive uncached page result and will be
Yeah.
much more worse experience for them, and they will just bounce back and
Yeah. We
not
hear
come
that.
back to your
We have
store.
Varnish.
So
What do you mean? Our database is load is very high. Well, it's not
it's
working.
it's it's always needs to be tested well. So you need to test different scenarios. You need to make sure, like if you have newsletter campaigns, you need to make sure that you try yourself to open the newsletter you send out, see what URLs are there, if there is new parameter being added or something, because you like software changes all the time, and all the time you need to be ready to adjust.
Yeah.
So it's not like you just build something and you forgot about it. You always need to maintain your varnish configuration. So let's go and profile the category page itself, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
So it takes some time. So I don't see any. I went blurry a little bit. So I'm saying that there is not match products. Actually, there is no products here, but I expect that this thing here on the left side is gonna take some time to generate, because this is layered navigation as far as I understand. You know, like products and so on, and probably if I click on it, I'm gonna see some products. But let's see how much time it takes to actually render it. Okay, 600 database queries. Why? Let's take a look, right? Interceptors, but what those interceptors do? Render some container. Templates purchase. What is this? Purchase. Templates impression. Okay, looks like some kind of Google Tag Manager thing. Oh, one of my favorite extension vendors, Anawave. Hi guys.
What's this impression
I
push
really
for?
like your Google Tag Manager extensions. They're super slow. So here it is. Here we have a thing like those Google Tag Manager impressions. We didn't see any product at all, right? But this extension actually just takes 1 second of time to render those impressions for those products, because it loads some kind of collection. Okay, catalog product collection before to HTML observer execute. And here is also our Amasti as well with shop by. And let me guess, it's again gonna.
It's the layer navigation. Yeah, that's. Let's see.
Yeah, this is just doesn't look like the right database queries built over there in this Amasti extension. Because, you know, if you would use Smile Elasticsearch, you could get the data from Elastic in 30 milliseconds with all the needed faceted filters for you. And here it takes quite a lot of time. Let's refresh it again. Here it does a lot of database operations that are completely unnecessary in my opinion, and could have been built in much more simpler way. So yeah, first of all, a lot of load in the loops. And let me guess, it also shows all the products in a category, right? Because if I go here, and what if I just open the page source and I just take a look at GTM. Okay. Impression data. So here it is.
What's the marketing purpose of this?
This is basically to use this data in Google Tag Manager. But this Anawave extension is a huge abuser, and you see it also adds a lot of redundant JavaScript on the page as well. So it's basically not only bad for servers, it's also bad for front-end performance as well. Oh, yeah, let's open it up. Oh yeah, I even can't select it. Let's see.
So
I
they're
just want to.
so they're sending this back to Google Tag Manager to say that somebody saw these products. I don't know
Yes.
much about Google Tag Manager.
Yeah. So it's basically an impression of the data, but it looks like it's a little bit broken JSON. I don't know why it looks like that, but it looks like that for me. Oh, it just initialized in one line, so that's why.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused. Okay, let's do JSON viewer. Let's pass this JSON here, and let's see, 47. So 47 items are shown. Yeah, so basically very simple product information. There is completely no need to, even use, all those loading loops, because it's using price, and it could just use the price from the price index. There is no need to, in order to access this information like list, category, ID, name of the product, brand of the product, price, and position. It basically grabs all the product collection and loads it on the category page when there's no products actually shown.
Yeah. There's what?
So,
I mean, we're looking at like what 10, and it's got 40 some listed there. What?
yeah.
Wow. Wait, where's the other 30? I don't understand.
There is no products at all here.
At the
There is
bottom?
no
Oh, at the
products.
bottom? No, even at the bottom, that still doesn't add up to
As
40.
I say, it just shows the products that are directly assigned to this modalities category. But
Even
the
if.
customer actually doesn't show these
Oh,
products.
wow. Okay.
But this Google Tag Manager extension loads them anyway.
Oh, shit. That's no good.
Yeah, so in general, I also work with another customer right now on removing one of the Google Tag Manager extension, not Anaway, but another one. There's plenty of bad Google Tag Manager extensions on the market.
Which one would you recommend?
None of them.
None.
Because Google Tag Manager is actually very straightforward implementation. You just can write a couple of lines of JavaScript in order to push the data into Google and tell about the user actions. You don't even need to output any data from the backend. You can just use JavaScript and build CSS selector to find, hey, which products I see on the page. You can build this data by just accessing your products by watching what customer actually even sees in their view. So as I understand, like from point of view of impressions, it makes sense to actually see which product your customer actually saw or, for instance, hovered over. But these extensions, they just decide, hey, we're just gonna nuke Google Tag Manager with all the data we have.
Yeah, it looks like they just took everything from the category, even though it's not even displayed on this page, which is false data that this merchant would be working off of.
Yeah, so basically what you usually should do, like if customer hovers over, let's say, or mouse over, let's say, on this item, and hey, looks like this item is within this specific CSS class, so probably I can tell, hey, this Holden Cold Therapy category name, I'm gonna send this as impression data for Google Tag Manager, and so on. Or for instance, when customer scrolls, you can use also intersection observer in browser in order to see which elements are currently visible in the view of the customer as well. And you can base your Google Tag Manager data based on this. And it's just, a lazy implementation of Google Tag Manager by those extension vendors that just implemented because, merchants are looking for proper integrations, but no one tells them, hey, in order to implement the good Google Tag Manager data, you actually need to work with your developer in order to properly integrate it into your theme, because extension won't solve it. You have always to adapt it to your design, adapt it to your user behavior. You shouldn't just rely on default integration. Like, for instance, you can have some default integration being installed, let's say, for shopping cart, for checkout, to report these kind of events. But actual view on a category page or product page, it's better to adjust it to your theme. So don't just install Google Tag Manager extensions that just does everything for you.
I'd be willing to bet a lot of people don't even look at that Google Tag Manager data.
A lot of merchants actually look into e-commerce data related to sales.
Yeah.
But from point of view of viewing the product details, like, hey, which filter customer has clicked on, or which products customer visited prior to going to shopping cart and actually funneling through all the checkout, very rarely customers actually configure Google Tag Manager in such a way. So yeah, this one definitely a problem. So we right away can say that the load time will be reduced a lot by just removing this unwave extension. So this is a problematic one. And yeah, there's plenty of issues. And another thing is, which one is the category page? This is a widget. This is it. Yeah, shop by department. And also another thing we saw here is related to a musty where is it?
The shop by?
Filters. Yeah, shop by. So it's quite a lot of time, I can tell you for sure, spent there. So basically, in my experience in Magento 1, in Magento 2, no good extensions for layered navigation are available in the market, without trying to achieve everything, and in not the most efficient way. So, and here, wait a second, what's happening here as well? This is interesting as well. Like 1.3 seconds and some kind of category, or what's loaded here? Attribute options for configurable product. What it is? Get identities. Oof. What is this? Who calls every single product by ID? Magento Core? Do you see it?
Yeah. Plugin. It's after plugin, it looks like it's truncated in the name.
Is it really a bug in Magento Core? I had never seen this one before. So get identities. So this is added by full page cache module. You see? Full page cache module. I can understand what it does. So it renders product IDs as um, identities for placing it into the response headers of the page. So then you can flash cache by product IDs instead of doing it by URLs. And here we see that this catalog product model interceptor get identities get some kind of interceptor over here from configurable product module after get identities. Let's see if we can find the code itself that is going on there. Let's see and look it up right away in Magento codebase. After get identities, right? No, not the right one.
Oh, wait, you spelled it wrong. Go back. You put an F instead of the T. Identities, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted just to have identities. Yeah, so configurable product extender. So this is the one. Okay, what it does. Oof. Here it is.
Hey, it looks like a loop.
And this is in. This was added in November 23rd, 2018. So this is quite recent contribution. And the commit message is not telling us anything about it. So it just adds.
He added unit test to it. Wait.
But what's the purpose of this functionality? I even don't see any value in the test as well, because it looks a little bit strange. Yeah, so this is definitely a part of the configurable after get identities. And here, can we switch to the default develop? Yeah, it's still the same one. So still the same code base. And the problem is here that it tries to get all the simple product IDs of configurable being added as a cache tags. But inadvertently, the problem here is that it uses this get configurable type, and I can bet 100% that this get children IDs loads product through product repository and loads a single configurable product again. Let's see. So this is a configurable type, and configurable type is configurable product model product type configurable. So good, we are in the same module. So we can just go in product type configurable, and let's search for this get children IDs. Okay. Very nice. We are going down the rabbit hole. Let's see which one this is. It's resource model product type configurable. Okay, then it looks strange. So many contributors here.
Yeah, 62.
Yeah, so let's go to a resource model. Product type configurable. Get children IDs. Okay, here I see a simple database query. So looks like this problem is not in the most recent version. Maybe the problem is visible only in this one. Do you know which Magento version are they on?
Yeah, I can check. 2.2.6 B2B.
2.2.6, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so probably that's the reason. Because of that issue in core, and probably it was already fixed, and they just don't have the most recent version. So probably if we go into again, what was it? It was product identities extender. After get identities, yes. So product identities extender. Oh wait, sorry, it's still there. I just was opening a wrong.
Shit.
Okay.
There it
I
is.
just was taking a look at the wrong product. Yeah. So after get identities, problem is still here. Product repository get by ID. But strange, I didn't see it on my project. Probably because I already someone from developers probably already was removing it, or maybe because I'm using a little bit different version of page cache configuration. So this one a little bit interesting. So definitely there is a problem, and I don't understand why it's doing. So basically what it takes parent IDs of. Oh, I see why I don't see it. Now I understand. So the problem is in inverse relation of the products. So if you have if you are showing simple products independently from configurable products on your category pages, but these simple products are also assigned to configurable products, it also tries to add all the IDs of every single configurable product simple product is assigned to, together with all the simple products of that configurable product. And that's why this product repository get by ID gets triggered. So this is a huge find in Magento performance, in Magento core. This is definitely a huge performance issue because, yeah, you just saw it. You know, like it's 1.5 seconds just to retrieve IDs. Basically, it's the same thing. It needs to have a custom resource model just to retrieve those IDs. I even don't know if actually those IDs are needed there. Maybe they're just added in case because, you know, like what can affect visibility of a simple product? Because if you show a simple product, right, it doesn't matter is it shown in configurable or not. The status of visibility of this product doesn't affect, you know, its view on the current category. So, you know, like changes in configurable product or in simple products of that configurable product also shouldn't affect visibility of actual product you are currently viewing.
Is there no?
If you disable configurable product, but your simple product is still shown on category page separately, I don't see why it's actually added here. I think this plugin can be safely disabled. I don't see any reason in it.
The plugin itself, I mean, do you really need to load the product repository just to get the parent? There's no.
No, I mean, like the idea of this plugin itself is wrong. That's what I'm trying to explain. So what it does. So let's say you have a simple product on a page.
Yeah.
And then this simple product, what this plugin does, it takes all the parent products of this simple product. So if this simple product is assigned to a configurable, then Magento takes all these IDs of configurable products in order to add them to your current page cache tags. But configurable product doesn't affect visibility of simple product in any way. So simple product is completely independent. It shouldn't be affected by a configurable product. So this is completely
Inverse relationship
that is completely redundant.
Yeah.
So I really don't understand this thing here, because
I don't know. What do we do next? What do we report?
I think the best pull request here is actually remove this plugin altogether from core.
Try it. Let's see.
But first of all, yeah, let's put it into the notes for these guys that they actually need to just disable this plugin right away. But in general, yeah, I think this plugin just makes no sense. But wait a second. I think we have some history of changes. Not much history. Hide from product page option does not work for child products. But how does removing this one help to solve this issue? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And what is the history of this file where it was introduced? Was it in 2.2? Okay, hide from page. Again, absolutely no information about this ticket. Like, looks like completely unrelated to the title of the commit. And it was added on February 13. Was it before? Oh, there it was still there before in such style. Hide from product page option does not work for child of configurable product. I never heard about this feature, hide from product page. Okay, so it was introduced in 2.1 as this plugin. And all the way to 2.3, it's still there. And if by any chance you are showing simple products from configurable products, you are affected by this performance issue. And moreover, if you are showing multiple simple products of a configurable product, it means for every single simple product, you will separately load configurable product of that simple product with all the simple products of that configurable product. So,
hey, that's why we called this show Load in the Loop.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, okay. We even didn't hit page with categories, and I think we already over time with our show. So, yeah, it was interesting experience, I can tell you for sure. Like, very interesting issues we found. our favorite extensions, right?
Yeah, Amnesty once again. Anna Wave was in
Yeah,
there. You're a
yeah.
fan of
It's kind
Anna
of
Wave.
recurring theme in our show. Like it's second episode in a row we have some issues with MST extension. And then we have a new one that I've met before. It's Anawave. So Anawave is um, low quality Google Tag Manager plugin. I advise just remove it and just implement it very simple. I remember Gisser from Netherlands have created some kind of open source plugin for Google Tag Manager, but I didn't review it, so I cannot
Oh yeah, Yissa.
100%. Yeah,
Yissa.
yeah, Gisser
He's
has
part of the. Oh, they have like a coalition of extension vendors to write good extensions. What's it called? Oh, they're
XDN.
XDN. They're gonna kill me for not remembering that. EXTDN. Right. That's probably good. It's probably good. Those guys write good extensions.
Yeah, let's take a look. Giro, all right. GTM.
Yurio, YIREO. Oh, YIREO. Yeah.
Easier.
There you go.
Yeah, so this okay, so this is the data layer test, but here's his Euro. It's his. Oh, so it's through Y. How they call it in the Netherlands? Y. So here we have
I can't pronounce any of them.
extensions. Yeah, so let's see.
There he
Google
is.
Tag Manager.
Yeah.
This is for Magento 1.
Oh,
How about
yeah.
Magento 2?
Wait, Google Tag Manager 2. Is that still?
Oh yeah, here it is. Let's see. Where is it? Can I find
Yeah.
GitHub? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so here's the one. Okay, good. Good. And maybe this one worth to give it a shot. And if the customer actually missing something from the output, they can always add it. Okay, what it does. So they take scripts and so yeah, he just adds at the start of the body, he adds some kind of script over there. Actually, he adds some kind of script with some impressions through such a way. So completely uninvasive from point of view of templates. And let's see his script. Where is it? Was it? Let's just quickly. Sorry, Isa, for reviewing your extension code on show, but we need to know, can we suggest it to the customer? So it's view model script. So let's go into the view model and let's see what's happening over there. And this view model script. Add product, register current product. And current category. So you just output some template or some custom stuff. So far, I don't see any load in a loop. So let's take a look at the template. Oh yeah, looks reasonable. You know, nothing outrageous. So yeah,
Cool.
should be okay.
Swap out the Anna wave.
Yeah, just use it instead of Anawave extension. It probably has much more or less features, you know, than Anawave, but at least it's not gonna
Give you
bust
wrong
your
data
category
and
page.
slow you down.
Yeah, uh, probably it just has some basic tag managing, like it just shows, hey, you are visiting this category page. But like impressions, sending impressions to Google Tag Manager, if actually customer don't see products, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's
So
bad data is worse than no data. Is that the
yeah.
saying?
So in general, I think there is some quick wins this customer can achieve by removing Unawave extension, and
The
the
brand
other things
slider.
that
Yeah, the Amnesty
and
brand slider was 60% of the homepage.
yeah, so brand slider, they can probably keep the extension itself of Amnesty, but just grab the data directly from database through a service model and render a very lightweight block. It doesn't make sense to build on top of existing search API in order to just show brands on a homepage. It doesn't make sense.
Speaking of the search and going into layered navigation, they are using Elasticsearch here, but it's
No,
Magento's. I think they
they
are.
don't.
Jen says, oh, she says they have ES, MySQL, and external all set up in their. Wait a minute.
They definitely not using Elasticsearch. I didn't see it
No, oh,
anywhere in
not
the
Elastic
profile.
Suite, Elasticsearch.
Oh yeah. So if they use standard core Elasticsearch, yeah, it's not performance
So,
at all.
okay, so you would recommend using Smiles Elastisuite?
Yeah, it's reasonable. Like it's not the top performance, but it's very simple solution for fixing majority of the issues. Unfortunately, that also comes with a lot of customized front end, so they replace a lot of core parts of Magento because unfortunately, yeah, you have to build really interesting extension from point of view of a structure to preserve the standard Magento core functionality, but at the same time provide high performance. So there is no extension on the market that does that.
But
So
Elasticsuite's better, like 2 times, 3 times faster, better than the built-in Magento, would you say?
let's say like that. All the layered navigation filters, they are completely outside of MySQL. So if they're completely outside of MySQL, it's already a huge achievement because you just saw what kind of terrible queries are happening over there, like 30 milliseconds on every single database query to get filters. Yeah,
Were you
it
were you a
just
fan of Sphinx? Was that you who was really more into Sphinx than Elasticsearch?
yeah, and it's something that I like much more. Like Sphinx is actually right now is not open source anymore. But there is an open source fork of Sphinx based on the most recent open source version of Sphinx, and it lives very nice life. It's called Manticore. It's called Manticore Search, so it's kind of very nice, uh, um, you know, ancient mythology related brand names. So Sphinx Search, Manticore Search, a lot of interesting stuff. And Manticore is actually very nice and very lightweight. It can run alongside your standard PHP application. as a simple binary. It doesn't require you to install Java to run huge VM in order to run it. It's very simple C program that is very efficient as well. Like it very memory efficient. So it doesn't eat all of your RAM, and it's blazingly fast. Also, it speaks MySQL protocol, so you can build queries like you would work with MySQL, but to a full-text search engine. Also, if you write a very efficient exporter for Sphinx, importing data into Sphinx itself is around 40k records per second. Per second, yeah. So if you stream data pipe of CSV data directly into the index tool of Manticore, it takes 40k records per second in order to build their file system-based index. So actually you have an index tool that can be run on completely separate server, and then you can archive those index files, deploy them into search server, and send a signal to search server, hey, please reload your in-memory index from files. And then you have zero downtime reload of the search data with very efficient Sphinx server. So it would take probably double the RAM during this process, but usually Sphinx takes very small amount of RAM.
Yeah, you had me at not having to run Java. I hate running Java.
And also in the end, Elasticsearch is based on Lucene, and Lucene itself is very legacy search API.
Cool.
So Solar is based on Lucene.
Yeah.
Elasticsearch is based on Lucene. Sphinx is using completely different approach. So they have own index structure, completely in memory, and you can build actually an SQL query in Sphinx terms that will return you everything. That will return you products, will return you Lariat navigation, and will serve you coffee.
Nice.
And I actually was building some proof of concept for asynchronous catalog API based on Manticore search. And this proof of concept was able to serve 1700 concurrent users per second.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, I remember talking about that.
And yeah, this one is actually on 500,000 SKUs. So you have an index of 500,000 SKUs in Sphinx with around 50 filterable attributes in Lariat navigation, and it was directly just concurrently with 100 concurrent users. It was able to process 1700 concurrent requests per second.
Nice.
And it's just Manticore with asynchronous PHP application that just runs on a single node.
Yeah. We support Sphinx, but we don't. I think Mirasfit is the only extension that we see really using it, and we're not real fans of that one. It what's it doing? It does. I don't know. There's part of that in there that we always have problems with. It's I can't think of it offhand. Are you familiar with that Mirasfit Sphinx extension?
Yeah, I don't use it. Yeah, so basically Sphinx requires to build a special configuration yourself. Like you can actually build it for a custom project very efficiently, but package this kind of extension as a standalone solution that someone can install through marketplace and just run in a store is not something that I would suggest to do, because like those kind of extensions, they are more oriented to the merchants who just want to configure and forget, right?
Yeah.
But this kind of technical solutions, they require attention of the expert in that area, not just get merchant install it, and then merchant can
Oh,
actually mess up configuration
yeah.
and
The morass fit, it falls back, I think, to MySQL for full text, and then it just does this expansion thing, and it just kills MySQL when it falls back. Yeah.
yeah, and basically as well, like you need to tune
Misspell.
your Sphinx
Misspell. That's it.
your Sphinx configurations to customer specifics. Like you need to also properly built in index, because in Sphinx there is two kind of indexes. Actually, there is one kind of index, full text index, and other things are just in memory attributes. So if you, let's say you build let's say your category pages, and you filter by category ID as an attribute, and you have 500,000 products, it's gonna be very slow search in Sphinx, because Sphinx will have to walk through every single product, take its category ID attribute, compare it to the value you're looking for, and then go next, go next, go next. It's still gonna be faster than doing it in MySQL, because Sphinx keeps this data in memory, but still it's gonna be painfully slow.
Yeah.
So what you usually do when you build this Sphinx index, you actually create a full text search field with category slug, and then by
Oh,
this category slug you just apply it as a search term for full text search index. And
okay.
because category have kind of good cardinality value, it is very fast full text search index. So
Got
it
it.
can say, hey, we have, let's say, 5,000 products in with this search term assigned to it. So you can
Yeah.
build very effective category pages with Sphinx.
It was Morassfit's misspell that I was thinking of that hammers the database extremely hard. We usually recommend disabling it, mainly because search is a really big attack point for DDoS. So if you have competitors who are coming at you, or even just bots that enjoy eating search queries, it can easily consume a lot of server resources just hitting your search. So we're
Oh,
oftentimes rate limiting and
I was
blocking
building
search.
so many Sphinx solutions that completely bypass Magento full text search and quick search.
Yeah.
So what I was building, it was for my Magento 1 Sphinx implementation. So I have this kind of endpoint where I have to build trigrams based on product data. So like those suggestions,
Oh, okay,
and when you
okay.
start typing,
Yeah.
you just
Autocomplete, yeah.
need to get autocomplete of your search query. So what I built for that solution, I actually had to do some exports of the data from the products, and then I've built a special autocomplete suggestion builder. So I build, let's say, brand, product name, color, and let's say season, and then I mix these words differently, and then I build from these words. I also build trigrams. Trigrams is kind of a 3-character set in every single word, and then when someone types a query, I also separate it by trigrams, and then I search by trigrams, not by the full keyword. Then the most matches of the trigrams from the suggestions will pop up as a search suggestion for a customer.
Yeah, that's sufficient. You can easily hammer a server just from autocomplete if you get people in there. I've seen a lot of bad autocomplete implementations that just kill.
Yeah, it requires a very good implementation behind it. If you know, if you
Does.
just do a database query by it's not something that you want to have on your production server.
No, that's
You
not
want to have
scalable.
something implemented properly, with trigrams. Elasticsearch has trigram support, as far as I remember, by default. But you still need to create some kind of separate index if you want to have high quality after suggestion.
Yep.
And this in Sphinx it's a little bit different. In Sphinx you have to do a lot of things yourself. So that's why when I say that if someone installs Sphinx extension from Marketplace, they will never receive, you know, high performance from Sphinx with the most best solution. You still need to spend some development time on actually adjusting it to your needs, because there is no one size fits all, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah,
And
it was a nice episode today, I think.
yeah, it was good. It was good. So, what are you going to do about that Magento 2 core? You going to do a pull request to suggest to remove that plugin?
I don't know.
Maybe talk to some of the
Technically,
developers.
it makes sense just to open an issue, you know, and get some discussions going on to see what actually was the reason to add this plugin in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, the implementation of the plugin itself is questionable in my opinion. Like I don't see a reason to have it over there. So for this customer, definitely as a quick fix, developers should just disable it.
Yeah. Yep. Well, so lots of good suggestions for this customer. Any parting words before we take off? How to reach you? We always put that in the show notes. So we'll link your Twitter and your
Yeah,
email.
I think it doesn't make sense to pronounce it during the recording, but you can find our contact details if you want to get your story reviewed. Me and Eric's details are available always in the show notes, and as well under YouTube video, right?
Yep.
At least it should be available under YouTube video.
Yeah.
So you can contact us, and you can always follow us on Twitter. Also, I think we can open DMs on Load in a Loop Twitter account, and then
Yeah.
me on Eric can answer your inquiries about reviewing your store. And as you said, Eric, you have a lot of customers still at MageMojo to continue reviews.
We have no
every
shortage
single
of
day,
content.
right?
We have no shortage of content.
Definitely. So, yes, thanks to this customer, we found very interesting issue. I'd never seen this spore issue before, but now, yeah, I see it. Simple products assigned to configurables that are shown in category page triggers a very terrible performance degradation issue in Magento.
Cool. We'll start that discussion on Twitter. When we tweet the show out, we'll add the extension companies and give you some props and ask if anybody else then knows the reason for that and start a conversation. So good stuff. I think we'll wrap there. And
Yeah,
thanks to Blackfire for the awesome sponsorship and the cool, awesome tool for us to work with.
Yeah, without Blackfire, probably it would be much more harder because, it's very easy to use. You just have your browser extension, you click profile, and it's done. And you can open timeline and you can just watch through all of the issues. Also, the guys at Blackfire, they were telling me like, hey, like we have this nice feature in Blackfire that can tell you if you have your caches turned off. So if we open from the last show, if we open one of the profiles, let's just open this load in a loop environment. So if we go into Adam's horse supply, let's open this 50 seconds. And if we open here some of the recommendations tab, some composer, okay, this is different thing, but
there it is.
Magento 2 block HTML cache should be enabled.
Yep,
Magento
and
config cache should be enabled. Full page cache should be enabled. JavaScript bundling should be enabled. and bunch of other suggestions.
Yeah, so they did find the
just over there.
caches. And they said about adding the mode too. That was a feature suggestion they got from one of our episodes about adding a recommendation for to go into production mode.
Yeah, it also a very good thing. So they're gonna add this suggestion as well to the Blackfire. So it's win-win for all of us. We review Magento stores, and they improve their product for Magento developers.
Cool. Well, thanks for everybody who's still watching at this point. It's really long, so thank you if you're still here. I guess that's
Definitely
a wrap for us today. Thanks,
yeah.
Ivan.
Thanks, everyone. Till the next time.